So, as many of you know, I love batteries. And this is the Bat Cave, and this is all EG4 electronics products. And it is super cold in here. I have it running at 60 degrees. So this is charging like crazy right now. I have been discharging these every single day to about 28 to 30%, and that's just my daily consumption. I'm running at a basic static load in my house of about 8 to 10,000 watts. So I need a lot of power and storage. So this is what I used, because this is the best equipment, in my opinion, that is pre-integrated systems for that application. Now, I had thought about, wow, wouldn't it be cool if I could make my tractor battery powered and just get a hydrostatic pump for it? And I was thinking about maybe using these types of batteries for that. But the trick is, this battery is application specific. This battery is designed to sit still and just take a charge and discharge. The positive and negative leads are on opposing sides of the actual battery. And if you touched those together, you would find out really fast that that's not a great idea. So these are not meant to be shaken. They're not meant to be in that like off-road category. Now, if you had seen a video a little while ago that I had made about driving in some new things down my driveway, we're about to go explore what that is. And we might even see a cute puppy on the way out the door. Hey, little puppy. Now, this weekend, and actually today, I'll be traveling over to my father-in-law's as he has a golf cart. And that golf cart ran on lead acid batteries. Now, lead acid has been the kind of gold standard for what you use in golf carts for decades now, other than ones that are gas. But there's a company that has made an outstanding replacement for not only golf carts. Now, we're going to talk about the golf cart ones today, but they have tons of other options as well. Now, these batteries are by BigBattery, and they make these very specific to application types of batteries. Now, I ordered 2 of these large 48-volt style batteries for the replacement, and all of the charge controllers and connectors and everything to completely replace this battery set in his golf cart. Now, what really makes these batteries so much different, again, as I noted, those EG4 batteries are meant for residential applications. They're not meant to be shaken for hours on end, driving around on your golf cart on a golf course. But these batteries, they are. This is the Husky series. I think the Husky 2 specifically is this battery's nomenclature. Now, this battery specifically has a ton of different tech in it. Now, these are going to be, from a chemistry standpoint, these are the LiFePO, the lithium iron phosphate. Now, that is a chemistry that is basically taking over all of what will be eventually electric cars in the next few years as well. But this technology is the same battery technology that is in the batteries in my Bat Cave. Now, why this technology is so important is because of a few features, one of which is the depth of discharge. These batteries can go down to about 15% total depth of discharge. So if this battery were at 100%, you can run it down to 15% charge, and it's no worse for the wear. Whereas if you get into lead acid batteries, their depth of discharge really should never go below 50%. That really degrades the life cycling. Additionally, the shelf life, so these batteries, if they're just sitting and no one is using them, this battery only loses about 1% annually of its total capacity, whereas a lead acid battery can lose as much as 30% annually, even if you're not using the battery. And obviously that's terrible. Nobody wants to lose that much battery. Like, imagine you have a summer camp and your golf cart is parked for a year and you come back and now that battery is 30% less valuable or total capacity than it was before. So the CEO of BigBattery actually, I believe, worked at NASA in part of their systems where they test out the ability for things to handle vibration. So these are actually all vibration and drop tested. Obviously, you don't want to drop these batteries, but high vibration applications is what these are pre-tested for. These are very, very strong. People use them in equipment, like large equipment for like dollies, scissor lifts, things like that. those pieces of equipment can take these batteries and they're no worse for the wear, the batteries, because of the application that they're used in. So there's a few features I'm going to go over on these in just a second here, and I'm going to pull the battery all the way out, but I have to set this camera down to do that. Now that I've got the battery out of the box, now let's talk about some of these really interesting features and really clever design functions. First and foremost, these plates on the ends that are screwed in, they already have the hardware there, and you can see there's a little half of that plate right here, a little half of that plate right here, and here. So if I took this plate off, I can put it here so that it would overlap with another battery, and I can interlock them almost as if they're Legos, but from every single side. So vertically, horizontally, every configuration you can imagine, you can stack or parallel these batteries in setting them up. These are IP65. You can parallel them, and there's obviously a little QR code if you're really into that. I love QR codes. This gives you all the information about the battery. This can put out 100 amps in the charging, and so this is something you would want to do. So this would be at 1C, the amp hour capacity relative to the charge rate. These are also designed to be able to be installed without charge controller, so your original lithium or your original lead acid charger can charge these. Obviously, it's going to be much slower, so highly recommend getting the right charge controller so you can optimize the speed of charge on these. But these batteries, not only do they have all these configurations, these are completely sealed units. So you can put them in a sealed enclosure. You can also have these in any orientation that you want. So if I wanted to stack this on its side, I can do that. There's no limit to the direction to which I'm able to orient these in setup. And that's something a lot of other batteries don't have. So those are some really key features. So the high vibration, orientation, the interlockability that is pre-built into them, so you don't have to manufacture anything fun like that. Now, these are really commonly used, like I said, in the application of, let's say, a golf cart, but you also would see these in an RV. I would never put those EG4 batteries that I have in there in an RV. They would vibrate, a wire could come loose, and a dead short inside of a system like that could actually cause some serious damage. These, not only do they have the ability to vibrate, they even have a BMS, which is the battery management system inside the battery, that can prevent a dead short. So if I dropped a wrench connecting these two, the positive and negative terminal, it'll spark, but it will automatically shut down the battery and preserve the health of the battery and not kill anyone attached to the other side of that dead short. So those are some really, really important features about these. Now, again, going back to that chemistry, the LiFePO, these are warranted for 12 years from the manufacturer, and they should hold 80% total original charge capacity, so that 100 amp hour capacity should be at 80% in 10 years from now. That is wildly better than what you would get out of lead acid. So these are more expensive than a lead acid battery, but the return rate on that investment is going to be much greater because of the fact that their lifespan is so much longer. Obviously, I'm a huge proponent of this battery technology. I'm a battery guru. I've played with rechargeable batteries since I was a little kid. It was one of my first favorite Christmas presents was a battery charger for all my Lego Technics. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever that you could recharge batteries, like AA batteries for applications. And I've been following this tech for years, and this has been the crowning piece of the evolution of what that battery technology is. LiFePO4, which is that lithium iron phosphate. Now, some other things about these are lithium, so they don't like being cold, and that's a problem for a lot of folks who might be in a colder climate. Well, good thing BigBattery thought of that, and these actually have a heater inside them. So there's a heating element that will allow the battery to warm up before it is discharged or before it is charged. So you can't hurt the battery because it already has a self-heating mechanism. Additionally, it has the BMS that will cut off if it's too cold or too hot. So it can't hurt itself. The BMS, the battery management system, which is the digital system that controls all of the information about the battery, which is turned on there, will give you all of those safety features pre-built in, so you don't have to think about that portion of the battery. It's already considering how to save itself at all times. That's not your job, that's the battery's job, which is a huge difference between that and a lead acid battery, which if you just had a parasitic draw, it would draw the voltage down and kill the battery, and you might be in some serious trouble there. So there is some really interesting tech that goes into these batteries, and I think that this is why I would recommend, if you're upgrading your golf cart and you're thinking about getting a battery that has, that lead acid short, maybe 3-5 year at maximum lifespan, think about getting something that's a little bit longer term, and it will be well worth your investment to go into a battery like this. And even if you decided you're going to get a different golf cart, you can remove these batteries and put them in your new golf cart. So they're very, very versatile in that way of linkable. They obviously have all of the safety features and a great warranty. Obviously, this is an American company, BigBattery. They're out in Texas. And again, they have a great warranty. 12-year warranty on a battery is absolutely insanity. But obviously, I would love to hear your feedback. Have you used these batteries? Where have you used these batteries? This also has Bluetooth, so you can actually check the charge and all that from their application, their monitoring application, so you can download that. But yeah, I'd love to hear your experience with these batteries. I'm going to do another video that will be the install of these in a golf cart. They're not going to fit perfectly because it's an older golf cart, so we're going to have to do some modifications on the cart itself. But I'll document all of that so you can see how you kind of get around getting this into something that might not be the first version of the application where you would get it. Also, if anyone's curious what else comes in that big old box that you unlock this thing from, you got your covers here for your battery ends. You got these ropes so you can pull these batteries in and out. So these are your terminal covers so you can cover them. And then you get your positive and negative leads. They're nice high gauge cables, already pre-heat shrinked and with their crimped ends for their connectors. I obviously packed up all of my stuff to be able to install this. There are 2 ports here for Ethernet. That didn't come with an Ethernet cable, but obviously if you wanted to link them so that the batteries were in tandem, you could just get a short little Ethernet Cat 5, Cat 6 cable and connect the 2 batteries. But that said, enough rambling. Let's box this thing back up, trek it up to the next city over, and install this in the golf cart.